Ted Williams. Ted Williams is one of the greatest what-if players in MLB history. Despite missing nearly 5 full seasons serving as a fighter pilot in World War II and the Korean War, Williams posted staggering career numbers. He had a .344 lifetime batting average, 521 home runs, a 1.116 OPS, which is second of all time behind only Babe Ruth, 2,654 hits and 1,839 RBIs, and he has plenty of career accolades like 2 Triple Crowns in 1942 and 1947, 2 MVPs in 1946 and 1949, and he was a 19-time All-Star. When he was 41 years old playing his final season, he still batted an insane .316 average. According to Fangraphs and based on his career averages, his 5 missed years would have brought in 832 more hits, 141 more home runs, and 567 more RBIs. Overall, it's not unreasonable to say that if he hadn't left for military service in his prime years, he would be cemented as the greatest pure hitter of all time. Jacob DeGrom. From 2018 to 2021, Jacob DeGrom wasn't just great, he was redefining pitching excellence. His peak was arguably the most dominant 4-year stretch by any pitcher in this generation. From 2018 to 2020, he averaged a 2.10 ERA, 209 strikeouts, and had a cumulative 19.3 WAR, during which he pitched 489 innings. And during his 2021 campaign, DeGrom was on pace for one of the greatest pitching seasons of all time, before elbow inflammation ended his season in July. Before his 2021 injury, his stats were insane. He had a 1.08 ERA, 146 strikeouts, and a .55 WHIP in 92 innings. And despite his injuries, he still has plenty of career accolades. He was a 4-time All-Star, he was NL Rookie of the Year in 2014, he led the NL in strikeouts in 2019 and 2020, and he has the MLB record for most consecutive quality starts at 26. Without the injury cascade that started in 2021 and led to Tommy John surgery in 2023, DeGrom could have been on track for one of the most decorated pitching careers in modern history, potentially challenging Clayton Kershaw for the title of greatest pitcher of his generation. Mike Trout. Mike Trout already has a lock for the Hall of Fame as one of the best players of this generation, but his first decade of play was on another level. His 2012 to 2021 seasons are statistically comparable to or better than legends like Mickey Mantle, Willie Mays, and Hank Aaron. From 2012 to 2021, he led MLB in OPS plus 6 times, had a .307 batting average, .422 on-base percentage, and .588 slugging percentage. He hit over 300 home runs, and he had 2 10-plus WAR seasons, totaling to over 75 WAR throughout this time. And that's not even mentioning all the awards. He was a 3-time AL MVP, 9-time Silver Slugger, and 11-time All-Star. But since 2021, he's dealt with injuries every single season, limiting his playing time. And since then, he's been averaging just 65 games per season. And what if Trout never got injured? Had he maintained his pre-injury production and durability, averaging an insane 9 WAR per 162 games and 41 home runs per 162 games, he'd easily be placed among the all-time greats. If you enjoy baseball explainer videos, consider subscribing. It really helps me out. Jose Fernandez. Jose Fernandez was one of the most promising young pitchers in MLB, playing just 4 seasons before his tragic death when he was 24. In 2013, he was the NL Rookie of the Year with a 2.19 ERA, which helped him make the All-Star team the same year, and his career stats overall are ridiculous. He has a 2.58 career ERA, a 38-17 record, which is nearly a 70% winning percentage, and 589 strikeouts in just 471 innings. With just 4 seasons played, if Fernandez continued at this pace through the end of his career, he could have finished as one of the best pitchers of his generation. His trajectory suggested multiple Cy Young Awards and a potential Hall of Fame career. Fernandez had an incredible career, tragically cut far too short. Josh Johnson. Josh Johnson was briefly one of baseball's most dominant starting pitchers before injuries derailed his career. He was a 2-time All-Star in 2009 and 2010. He led the NL with a 2.30 ERA in 2010, a career 3.4 ERA over 998 innings, and in his best seasons, 2009 and 2010, he went 26-11 with a 2.8 ERA and 377 strikeouts in 392 innings pitched. But in 2007, Johnson underwent Tommy John surgery, and then he suffered shoulder injuries that required multiple surgeries after 2011, and a third Tommy John procedure ended his comeback attempts. Without the constant arm injuries, Johnson had the makings of a regular Cy Young contender with his rare combination of power pitching and command. His 2010 season hinted at true ace potential that was never fully realized. Satchel Paige. Satchel Paige is baseball's greatest what if regarding the impact of segregation on a player's legacy. Paige pitched 21 seasons in the Negro Leagues before joining the American League in 1942, and in that time, he had a career 2.52 ERA, 1,213 strikeouts in 1,275 innings pitched, and a 96-51 record. Then he finally made his MLB debut at age 42, and in his first season, he pitched a 2.48 ERA, which helped his team, the Cleveland Indians, win the World Series that year. He became a two-time MLB All-Star in his late 40s, and his career MLB stats ended at a 28-31 record, 3.29 ERA, and 288 strikeouts in just 476 innings. Had baseball been integrated earlier, Paige would likely rank among the all-time leaders in every major pitching category. His Negro League dominance suggests he could have amassed hundreds of more wins and thousands more strikeouts. Brian Taylor. Perhaps baseball's greatest cautionary tale, Brian Taylor was considered a generational pitching talent. He was the #1 overall pick in the 1991 MLB draft. He regularly hit 99 miles per hour with his fastball, and he was Baseball America's #1 prospect in all of baseball in 1992. He also had an incredibly dominant minor league debut with a 2.57 ERA and 187 strikeouts in just 161 innings. But in December 1993, Taylor suffered a catastrophic shoulder injury while defending his brother in a fight. The resulting surgery to repair his torn labrum and capsule devastated his career. He lost most of his velocity and control, struggling to hit 90 miles per hour on his fastballs and couldn't pitch a curveball for strikes, and he never made the majors despite comeback attempts. Taylor is considered by many scouts to be the greatest pitching talent that never reached the majors. Had he not been injured, he projected as a potential multi-time Cy Young winner and the Yankees ace during their late 90s dynasty. Lyman Bostock. Lyman Bostock was rapidly emerging as one of baseball's best pure hitters when his life was tragically cut short at 27. He had a career .311 batting average over just 4 seasons with a career OPS plus of 123, and in his first 2 full seasons, he hit .323 and .336. And he wasn't just a great hitter, he was also considered to be one of the best defensive outfielders at the time. Bostock was tragically killed by a shotgun blast meant for someone else while visiting family in Gary, Indiana in September 1978. Bostock's manager on the Twins said he had no doubt that Bostock would eventually win batting titles, comparing him to teammate Rod Carew. J.R. Richard. J.R. Richard was arguably the most intimidating pitcher of his era before a stroke ended his career. He led the NL in strikeouts in 1978 and 1979, and he also led the NL in ERA in 1979 with a 2.71, and he had a career 3.15 ERA and 1,493 strikeouts in 1,606 innings. And it looked like his career was only going to get better. But in July of 1980, after multiple weeks of health issues, Richard suffered a career-ending stroke. At the time, he was leading the NL with a 1.9 ERA, .92 WHIP, and 10 strikeouts per 9. Richard was in his prime at 30 when his career was cut short. Had he continued on this trajectory, he likely would have been a Cy Young contender and potential Hall of Famer. Stephen Strasburg. Few pitchers entered MLB with more hype or lived up to it as immediately as Stephen Strasburg. He struck out 14 batters in his MLB debut, ending the season with 92 strikeouts in 68 innings pitched. He was the NL strikeout leader in 2014 at 242, and in 2019, he was more dominant than ever. He led the NL with 18 wins. He ended the regular season with 251 strikeouts and 135 ERA plus, and in the postseason secured a 5-0 record and 1.98 ERA, helping the Nats win the World Series and earning himself the World Series MVP title. But after the 2019 World Series, Strasburg pitched just 31 innings over 3 seasons before thoracic outlet syndrome essentially ended his career. Without the injuries that required Tommy John at the end of 2011 and surgery for thoracic outlet syndrome in 2021, Strasburg had the potential to reach 3,000 plus strikeouts and establish himself as one of the greatest right-handed pitchers of his era. Josh Gibson. Josh Josh Gibson is widely considered the greatest player never to play in Major League Baseball due to the color barrier. He's often cited as the greatest power hitter in Negro League history, with career stats of a .373 batting average, .458 on-base percentage, and .718 slugging percentage, with an OPS plus of .214. This helped secure some incredible accolades in the Negro League, including being a 12-time All-Star, 2-time Triple Crown winner, and 2-time World Series winner. And he was officially inducted to the Hall of Fame in 1972. But Gibson fell ill in 1942 and died of a stroke in 1947 at age 35, just 3 months before Jackie Robinson broke MLB's color barrier. Had MLB been integrated earlier, or had Gibson lived longer, he likely would have shattered multiple MLB records. Mark Fidrich's rookie year made it clear he was going to be a legendary pitcher. In his rookie year alone, he led the league with a .234 ERA and ended the season with a 19-9 record. He was the 1976 AL Rookie of the Year, and he made the All-Star game, where he would go on to be the starting pitcher as a rookie. He was also charismatic, and fans loved it, bringing in record crowds to Tiger Stadium, as well as earning cover spots on Sports Illustrated and even Rolling Stone. But a torn rotator cuff suffered in July 1977 that wasn't correctly diagnosed until 1985 derailed his promising career. He struggled through rehab and made just 16 more starts over the next 3 seasons before retiring, finishing his career with a 3.10 ERA and 29-19 record in just 58 games. Fidrich's combination of dominance and charisma could have made him the face of baseball through the late 70s and 80s. His 16 complete game victories as a rookie hinted at a potential Hall of Fame career. Bo Jackson. Bo Jackson is the only athlete to be named an All-Star in both MLB and the NFL, yet he's still one of the biggest what-if players in baseball. He played 8 seasons in MLB, playing 100-plus games in only 4 of them. Yet in that time, he still managed to get a career slash line of 250, 309, and 474, with 141 home runs in just 694 games. And in 1989, he joined the 30-30 club, and in that same year, he played in the All-Star game, earning himself the All-Star Game MVP. Through Jackson's first 5 seasons, his batting average increased every single season, and it was clear he hadn't hit his peak yet. But in a 1991 NFL playoff game against the Bengals, Jackson suffered a career-altering hip injury. Despite a remarkable comeback with an artificial hip, he was never the same player. Had Jackson focused solely on baseball and avoided the hip injury, his ceiling was potentially a 40-40 player with Gold Glove level defense. His combination of raw power, speed, and arm strength suggested a potential Hall of Fame ceiling. I have about 10 other players I wanted to include on this list, so if you guys want to see a part 2, let me know in the comments down below.